All right, guys, so today is new camera day, so thank you to my buddy Tony. I've got this new DJI Osmo camera. It's an Osmo 3. It should make everything a lot smoother, cooler. It's like, I don't know, this thing's pretty wicked, to be honest. Really excited. Got something over here, though, right here, right there. I don't know, I'm really pumped right now. So, this is the new turbo. So, we're going away from the 76, 75 and going to this big boy right here. When I say big boy, well, we'll just open it up and I'll show you. And let's kind of go over some of the details. Turbo time, nothing like a turbo time. Big old box with a Terpsky in it that won't cut open because this knife is dull. And I probably need a new one. Derp-a-derp, why won't it, what the heck? Oh, is it glued too? Boy. Set that down nice like. See that right there? See that? That is my new 6870. Sheesh! So here it is, guys. Precision 6870 using a 0.96 or I guess 96 exhaust housing here. This is a, as you can see here, what's coming around this side right here. This is a V-band setup. Very, very excited to get this on the car and try it out. Oh man, I'm just ready. Again, it's going to be very similar to what I currently have in the shape. This is going to bolt up to what I currently have. So if we come over here, it's going to be very, very similar. This is the same style housing. This is an H cover with the same rear housing here, 0.96, but this is a 7675 Gen 2 versus the new one is going to be a NexGen. Now, power rating. This is rated for 1300 horsepower. The new turbo is actually only, I love saying this, only rated for 1200. So I lose about 100, but the new tech allows for one, it's much smaller, so I'll get way better low end. And apparently this is pretty well on par with that. Again, it's not quite up there, but it's, yeah. Goal is to make just 1,000. Again, I was making a little bit more steam there when I had that car on 40 PSI, but this, yeah, this is awesome. I'm pumped for this. So look at this. Just, I cannot wait to get this on. But housing's got to come off. I got to go get it taken down and get powder coated at Bagworks down in West Virginia. Don't ever forget this either. So I was going to take it all apart tonight, but I'm actually going to drive this car down there tomorrow and maybe talk to Rob and those guys down there and kind of go over a few things because, man, like this car, look at it. Like, I absolutely love this car, and I'm actually loving this camera right now. This makes it so much easier. Let's go over a few things earlier. Yeah, I don't see any leaks or anything. I had some burning smell there, but I don't see any leaks anywhere. Catch cans overflowing, they have enough oil in it, but I feel like a burning oil. No catch cans, but it was different this time around. But I digress. Let's get this turbo apart. And the reason I want to get it apart again is to get it down for powder coating ASAP. All right, guys. So here is the two turbos. Old one, new one. The one thing I'm going to show you right off the bat here is, oops, see if we can show you here, 0.96. And 0.96 did not change the rear exhaust housing. Why did I not change that? Big reason is I wanted to have as much flow as possible to keep this eating up top. So I didn't want to sacrifice anything. And I think that was a big reason why this probably didn't do as well. If I had probably downsized this would have helped a good bit. But by keeping this a large, I think it's going to help me keep it up top happy, without going too small. But if you literally just look at it here side by side, you'd see how much bigger this is. I'm just trying to see the difference in fin design, but it looks super similar to me. Like when I look at it, I mean, it looks super similar, but they're saying this thing makes another 100 horsepower. So, bad wife. That's a bad wife. That's a bad, I got your butt. So yeah, I mean, it's all very similar. Again, this all bolts up. The front housing is a little bit different. I just dropped that off, obviously, with Rob down there at Bagworks, which just showed up on my phone. So yeah, the port's even still a square port on both of them. So yeah, I mean, they say the center section is a little bit different, like the fin design, but it looks super similar. So I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this up, get it ready, get my downpipe, everything else back on. It's cool. You can see the Powerhouse Racing header here. Must have had like a baby leak from something, but I think I'm gonna clean some of the stuff up while this is all off too. But yeah, you can see my one Go Fast Bits wastegate there, getting a little bit of heat in it. I mean, yeah, she got a little toasty, but no leaks. What I like this right there. See that? See, no leaks around that V-band, which makes me happy because everyone says V-bands leak, this, that. Male to females never leak. That's why I like that design. So I wanted to show that there was no leaks at all. Makes me super happy. But again, I'm going to get my brush out here and clean a few things up while I've got access to it all and clean up that engine mount, which you guys, can you see it down there? Damn, the low light on this is 10 times better than my old camera. Got a little crusty just from being down there. I got 6,000 miles. 6,000 miles on a quote-unquote race engine, and it hasn't skipped a beat. Tom Barbosa, you the man. This thing is awesome. Drove it today. Drove it down to take it to VagWorks. Like, this thing is just, it's so reliable. You hear for years from people hating standaloads, everything else. I've been very fortunate. So anyways, I digress. I'm going to put on my long drain neck here, get everything bolted up, and get it back on the car. All right, so I'm headed down to VagWorks right now. I've got this new microphone on my lapel, or I guess whatever you call that here, and I've got the window down. So just curious how this works. I was going to use the internal mic inside this thing, but I don't think that was going to work out. So I'm hoping this smooths everything out. Again, it has a built-in gimbal. But yeah, I just want to take it for a little ride, see if the window goes up. Here's another fun thing. I never get to show you guys this stuff, but the window. I can't figure out if it's the regulator or if it's something else. Just for the fact that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I gotta click it down, click it up. If the door's open, it doesn't work, but if I shut the door, it works. So I'm assuming it's wiring or something dumb, but I checked all the wiring and it all seemed all right, but it's gotta be maybe a cold solder issue. I want to replace the window switch. I was gonna have a gentleman named Josh Beaumont. I can't remember I think that's how you say his name. He's down in Texas, but I found out you can buy the window switch, is still brand new, for like 45, 50 bucks. So instead of even dicking around trying to fix what I have, it's like, screw it. For 45, 50 bucks, excuse me, I'll just buy a new one and save myself some headache here. And again, this is the reason why I'm going down today too. As you can see here, I live in the mountains, so it's just twisty and turny. Like, we'll get some straight roads here eventually, but it's nothing like it is down south, not even close. Transmission's still cold, so that's why there's a little notch there. Once it gets a little bit warmer, it'll be better. I had really thick fluid in this, and it was bad, like bad. Now this isn't horrible at all, but yeah, I'm just excited to get this thing powder coated and see how this looks when it's all done. I'm ready to drive it with the new turbo. I wanted to drive this down though, just because it's a beautiful day, so I don't want to take it apart and regret it. Well, before I take the turbo off, just got back from VagWorks there. Before I take the turbo off, I love when we did this, we did that, like, I don't know what you call this, but the full blackout. So like everything inside is the reason the new one's not going to have this, for the fact that I'm eventually going to get it machined. When they do that, all this is going to get tore up or cut up. So I didn't want to do it yet. I'll probably take it back and get repowder coat, but I at least got to have it black, because I love when I go to a show, I always take the filter off and it just looks better. It takes a lot more. It's a real pain in the ass. He even said too, he's like, dude, it sucks doing it. So I was like, yeah, this time around, don't even worry about it. But yeah, about to take the turbo off, but look at that. It just, V-Band is so much nicer. I can't wait. So I'm gonna shut up. Let's pull this car inside and get the other one out. All right, turbo is back on. I kind of like going back to this. It actually looks a little bit cooler here, but new turbo's on again. Doesn't look any different really, because well, it's like the same size. It's literally internally. So it's very similar. I did put a new fitting here just because, over time aluminum can weaken. So I did put a new fitting on it. Yeah, looks awesome. Again, this thing is supposed to be pretty awesome. Yeah, I guess I'll start it up here. Already primed the turbo. I want to check all the bolts one more time, make sure everything's completely tight, and then let's go ahead and fire this old girl up. okay, but this is definitely going to burn off quick. So it's going to get a little smoky. All right, ignore the funnel here. I'm actually changing the oil. Try to change it every 1,000 miles. I know that seems excessive, but oil is cheap in theory. I've got a ton of Toyota filters. Engines are not. So, changing out the oil, but I wanted to go over the turbo, and I'm going to go inside and go over how it is performing. This thing is a light switch, guys. This is the street turbo. And maybe a 64, 66 would be even crazier, but it's going to fall off even more up top, which is something I'm going to talk about here today. I'm going to try and remedy it, but again, I'm going to have to go inside and show you guys that. Just to give you perspective though, guys, I'm hitting 36 PSI at 5,000 RPM with an unideal setup. So for a low range car, you'd want smaller cams and everything else. So I'm running an open scroll manifold with a V-band. You're pretty much open scroll. Okay. I'm running large 276 cams. Okay. This has a high peak and lift. I'm running a large manifold, large plenum with a short runner. Again, high peak, not low. Large intercooler piping, large intercooler in itself. And there was one other thing I wanted to mention here. Maybe that's everything. And I'm running a large exhaust housing, which is good for top end. And that's 4-inch exhaust, which does help there, but not perfect. 36 PSI, 5,000 RPM, meaning that's hitting my target. It's probably making about 950, 1,000 at that. So the goal is to hit 40. Maybe I can go a little bit higher. 40 should net me about 1,050 in this, which is, I wanted over 1,000. I'm going to get on the dyno. Might have to play with timing a little bit. One thing I'm noticing though, it's falling off up top again. I'm not going to get too much of that right here because I want to go inside and show you guys the logs and explain that a little bit better. Before I go in though, I just have to explain, like when I get on it now, the car picks up so like it's just like brum, brum, brum. Or before, every time I shifted, if I didn't shift really high and then try to get it, just was a great powerhouse. And it's still, the one thing I would say, like up top, it definitely doesn't steamroll. It does, but it doesn't. You know, 90% of people get in the car. If I take a video, you'd be like, good Lord. But I can tell just a little difference just for the fact that I put took the 76, 75 off, put this right on, so I can tell the noticeable difference, but it's very, very minimal. Obviously the other turbo is worth another 100 horsepower. This is 100 less, but I feel like this gains a lot. Nothing wrong with the 76, 75, but yeah. The 7675, I've got it for here, 7675 Gen 2 with a 0.96 V-band housing. I've already got it boxed up. I can send you pictures. I've got videos. Obviously, nothing's wrong with it. You know, I took it off because I wanted to go to a smaller turbo. Plain and simple, but it's going to come in the original box, even from that one there with all the packaging, all the notes, including the white box, which is from Precision 2. So it'll come to you the same way it would come to you from them. Again, it has that Darth Vader look to it. So the inside of it's even powder coated, which is a pain. If you ever have someone do it, they charge you a good bit more. And I'd like $1,900 shipped. I'm not trying to make anything off of this. That turbo is $3,600 or $3,500 new, and I only used it for a year. I just want it gone. And then powder was another like $250. So yeah, it's pretty much half off is what you're getting it for. So if you're looking for a 76, 75, that's the one to get. All right, guys. So let's go over a couple of things here. So this is my boost tuning page. I made this that's why I like Haltech. AEM does it too, but made a couple like this one. Here's my fuel 3D base, I call it. So when I make base fuel, it has I like being able to see the map versus also the physical fuel load map here. Then have a few things in here that you want to check when you're checking for fueling. But I digress. Let's get to the boost tuning page here. So we come up here to the very top, see if this focuses for y'all. But up here, this is my levels for my BTI gauge, which is my switch. So you got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, you know, is pretty much gate spring, which actually my gate spring is like 15, but this is pretty much set. So if I just want it as low as I really want it to, or like 93 pump gas, which will switch automatically. 21, 25 is like the low if I'm letting like a friend drive or something. 31, I really like it at that level. 36 is really fun. And next up is 40. I don't know why it's 38 there. I just uploaded a new one, so this must be the old map, which it is because it's my old log. But let's go over this here. So let's do this. Let's window over it. Oops, so if we can see down there, we window over it all. Makes things a little bit tighter. So let's come in here. We'll look up top here. So as I drag this across here, you'll see we got an RPM. So let's come in here. We've got RPM. We've got map, we've got our boost target. So as it comes up, this target will go up, and that's what it's telling we want to go to. I'm on level 4 with this. Okay, so obviously we're targeting 36 PSI. So boost out is the physical MAC valve saying the amount of pressure percentage-wise going out. This short-term trim, this is the boost error, meaning like, hey, you're trying to hit 36, but the error is either negative or positive of that. And the injector flow is your duty cycle fuel pressure. You'll see that actually either trail just like a half a percentage or actually go a percentage above it or a PSI above it. O2 lambda, and then spooling means this is boost control out saying what's it doing. This spooling means that it slams the gate shut till you get close to your duty cycle you want to get to, which helps keep everything getting there faster. So we'll start here down below. We can see it like 3,700 RPM here. It's 3,700 RPM, we're at 7 to 4. So at 4,000 RPM, we have roughly 10 PSI, okay? So we're at roughly 10 PSI. As we go up, let's get to 4,500. At 4,500 RPM, let's go a little bit more. 45, we're at 20 PSI. That's pretty amazing. At 20 PSI for a bigger turbo is awesome. See, my target lambda is on point. My fuel pressure is on point. It's a little bit trailing behind, but nothing crazy. So if we go up here at 4,700, you'll see 30 PSI, 4,700 RPM, we're at 30 PSI. So from 45, so in 250 RPM, it goes from 20 to 30. And then from 30, which I think I need to add a little bit more bass. You can see here to 5,000 RPM, I hit 36, which is absolutely absurd. So it hits boost and gets up there that quick. Now, the one thing I'm having is this. So click off of that here. Whoops. You'll see this here. So our boost out is this line here. So this little squiggly line here is our boost out. And you'll see it's going up, 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 and brrr, and maxing out. You'll see my short-term trim, because when I was tuning this, I didn't know how close it would be, but we'll come across here. And as you can watch, so watch in the left-hand corner, as we're going up here, you see the short-term trim, this is positive value here, see 5.4. It's adding more in because we're not hitting target. Target's 36.1, we're at PSI off. And as we go up, it's not keeping up. It's doing okay, but it just needs more gate pressure, which I did fix that. But once we really get above 7,000, you'll see here, it's going to really jump up. And 75, you'll see it's damn near close to 100%, meaning the Mac valve, the boost controller is doing everything it can, but yet it's still bleeding off, which is a couple things. I don't have a back pressure sensor. So as we come up here, we'll go the whole way out. 8,000 some RPM here. You'll see 100%. It's giving it all the short-term trim, which again, I fixed all this on my closed boost 80. Let's come over here. So all this has been adjusted. So I've made this 100% here. This is now up to like 65 at this point. This is 100 and 100. But again, this is coming down to two things. One, don't need to rev as high because the turbo is so much efficient down low. Number two, it's choking out up top. It just can't work. I need to put a back pressure sensor to see what the pressure is to make sure of that. The other thing with it is the 3-port is not keeping up. It's usually double. It's a 15 PSI spring and I can hold about 31. So I'm doing pretty much what it says it can do. My old turbo is a little lazier, so it can actually efficiently do it. But this new one is not allowing that. So I can either go to a 4-port, dual 3-port, or put a 20 PSI spring in it. I'm going to try make one last pull with 100% here, see how it does and carries. But yeah, you can see here, the last, whatever, 7,000 or not 7,000, but 700 RPM. It's at 100% and it's trailing off right there, 28.8 PSI. Like it just can't keep up. But the car gets on boost so fast. And again, you don't need to rev as high now because you're getting into boost so much earlier. And again, I think if I put a 4-port on it or just put a 20 PSI spring, which should net me 40 PSI, I think this will alleviate. That's my personal opinion, but I'll have to give it a shot. The only downside is I have to remap all my boost settings again because all this bass is now different, right? You do a gear pull in that PSI range. So 15 PSI is my bass. My new bass would be right about here in between 19 and 21 at 20 PSI. So I'd have to redo, and I most likely realistically can't run 93. I could run really, really, limited timing there, but I just don't even want to chance it. I don't even really like running 93 unless I have to. And I pretty much try to run it low, 15 to 17 PSI just to get the car up and moving. But yeah, just wanted to explain that to you guys. This turbo is amazing. Again, we have full boost or 30 PSI at 47. Let's go back over here at 4,700. We're at 30 PSI. Ooh, there we go. 30 PSI, and at 5,000 RPM, we are at that 36 PSI. I'm assuming like 5,100, I could hit 40 PSI, which I'll make one more pull here. But yeah, very impressive turbo, 6870 NexGen with a 0.96 open scroll. It's mind-blowingly good. So I just wanted to give you guys the skinny here today, and just kind of go over all the cars. So I hope that detail helps you a ton. Big shout out again to Powerhouse Racing. Without them, we wouldn't be able to get this new turbo again. Powerhouse Racing turbo kit. Pretty much the whole car is PHR. I've got PHR valve covers coming here soon too. And we're going to take off these old ones to get a little bit more better breathing in the car. Again, I've got the old 76, 75 Gen 2 back there for sale. If anyone's interested, please shoot me a message. I'm more than happy with this setup now. It just picks up better, the gearing and stuff. It's all dependent on what and how you want to drive your car. For me, this is ideal. The only thing I could say possibly is depending on like your tire size, you might want the longer gearing with the smaller turbo now, but I personally do not because it's just too long for me. And that's with a 26.5 inch tall tire. Maybe if I went to a 28, I would say like this is even more ideal, but I think this is for what I want, how I want it to act on the street. This is like the most ideal setup. 410 gears, T56, 6870. It all works. It looks good, sounds good. This is, mwah, it is perfect. So thank you again, Powerhouse Racing. Guys, questions, concerns, let me know down in the comments below. Peace.